We're rolling. Welcome back, everybody, to the Powerstroke Tech Talk Podcast. This is number 26. We have the returning crew, DS Real and Matt, yours truly, and Vince coming from the bottom of the map, ATL.
Absolutely.
We want to welcome him. He's been a follower here for a few and is just recently a Powerstroke owner.
Woo, yes.
So we're going to talk about that today. I want to let everybody know who has not known. If you're interested in watching us other than on YouTube, make sure to check us out on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, TuneIn, and Podbean. You guys can download those. We're getting just had 100 downloads today. We're over 2,000. Everybody is really digging it, loving our content we're talking about, and today's going to be a good one right here with Vince being a first-time Powerstroke owner. I'm going to give it up to him. I want him to paint the picture for us. Tell us what kind of truck it is, what color, did you order it, did you find it on the lot, and if you have any questions, for Matt or DS, now that, we're really in the groove of working on them, driving them. I know a lot of guys are going to have some questions for you as well, but why don't you start off telling us, what you're using it for, what it is, what are you driving now?
Absolutely. And thanks for having me on, A-Rod. I'm loving this. I'm so excited. I couldn't sleep last night. But, I'm driving a 2019 F-250 with the 6.7.
Right on.
I got the XLT premium chrome package. I got a lot of chrome, sort of old school looking, but I like it. I like the chrome. It's got the 18-inch wheels on it, and they're chrome too. Everything's shiny on that thing. It's that silver, metallic silver.
Good looking truck. Silver. Iconic silver.
Beautiful. I had a ceramic coat put on it. It's so nice.
How much? How much was it?
Actually, it wasn't too bad. I got a 9-year coat for $800.
Damn.
And supposedly, 9 years. Realistic, maybe.
Was it up to your specifications?
It was nice. It makes it look wet all the time.
Really?
Water rolls off. Easy to clean.
So if it's a 19, that's ingot silver.
Yes, exactly.
Ingot silver. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. And I got the extended running boards. I got that.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey,
I just put those on my truck today.
Dude, I use them all the time to get access to the back. The only thing I got to say that sometimes when I step on the very end, it feels like it gives a little for me. I wish it was a little more rigid.
What end? What, like the very end by the bed?
Yeah, by the black end part of it. By the bed, exactly. It sometimes feels like I wish it was supported a little more, but it holds me fine. But sometimes
I was thinking about that when I put them on today.
Yeah.
One thing about those that I noticed is, so mine came without mine didn't have it.
Okay.
Mine didn't have the extended. When you get the extended ones, they delete a bracket.
Oh.
It's up front, but I put the bracket in. It doesn't have the J clips, but I put a little hole. I took a little hole saw, put a hole, then put another hole next to that hole so you could put a J clip in. Then I secured the 2 screws, and that put another bracket on.
Oh, that's good.
And then I would, if you go underneath and check, make sure it's got 2 bolts, because they might have cheaped out and only put 1.
Right.
And I put the 2 in the back with that ankle arm that kind of extends to the back. I put the 2 in there, and it's pretty solid.
Okay, I'll look at that for sure. But I love the truck. I mean, I just love it. And I went actually to get a used one because I was like, I'm not spending that much money on a new truck. No way.
Right.
So I went to look at some used ones. And while the salesperson went in and get the keys, I said, I'm crawling up under this truck. I laid down on the ground, crawled up under the truck. And when she came out, I said, don't even bring me the keys. I ain't touching this truck. I said, let's go look at the new one. So we did.
Was it rusty?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. There's so much rust and mud. It looked like the car sat in about 3 feet of water.
What?
And
you know what I think? I think they get those from up north and bring them down.
I think you're right because There was too much mud up in there. I'm sorry. I told her, I said, I'm not touching this truck. Don't even bring the keys out. And
did you get a fifth wheel or 360 cameras?
I got the 360 cameras. Yes.
Dang. Okay.
And I was telling you, earlier, I just realized just a couple months ago that I got the trailer tow package, but no, I got the high capacity trailer tow package. I was like, woo. So from what I understand, that gives me the Dana axle over the Sterling and maybe an extra leaf spring. I'm not sure about that, though.
I think, with the diesel engine and a 250, your gross vehicle weight rating on the standard 250 would be like 10,000 pounds.
Right.
But with that diesel engine, I think that's an extra 800 pounds heavier. Right. Give or take, compared to a gas engine, which would take a huge chunk out of your payload, which wouldn't be that good with a 250. Now, once you get that max trailer tow package, I think they give you more payload back, so you're over the 10,000. So it's more like a 350's payload,
like a 350 rear end, right?
Bigger rear end, and
you know what? Let me ask you this: the receiver, the trailer hitch receiver, is a 3-inch receiver. Do they all come like that? Is that only the high capacity?
Probably only high capacity, because I've got a 19 250. Yeah, and I've got a 2.5-inch hitch.
All right. See, this thing's got a beast of it takes a big 3-inch. I bought one of those B&W hitches with the adjustable kind. That thing was like $300 something for that 3-inch.
To get the full 3-inch,
Yeah, I was like, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
That's pretty much a 350 with a 250 badge.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Dude, speaking of hitches, you got to see the hitch that the family that owns the company that I work for, one of their trucks, it's a 350 dually. It's got dual receivers on top of each other. So it's like that.
Oh, yeah.
That thing's rated at 30K.
Oh,
holy cow.
Way more than the truck should, legally be able to pull, but damn.
Yeah, for real.
Big dog.
Oh, that's I see DS has what is that? Is that way?
Yeah, that's the Way Safe.
Yeah.
And it's 21,000 pounds. Not the heaviest duty, but not bad.
I only have one thing to say about aluminum hitches. If you live up north, either put anti-seize or grease or something on them, or don't use them, because if you get a little scratch of paint off and you get raw aluminum on raw steel, you're never going to get that thing out.
Huh.
I mean, assuming you leave it in there for a while, because for those that don't know, steel and aluminum don't really get along, and then you get galvanic corrosion. And I had this happen on my truck with a aluminum hitch. I chained that thing to a tree and tried to drive forward, and it stayed in there.
But you know what, though? That happens.
Not come out.
That happens with all of them, though. Even the steel. Like, I had the truck in it, and it was a mess. But you can't get, like, the steel one, I was able to go inside and cut it out with the saw, the Sawzall. If it was solid aluminum, dang, you're in trouble.
Well, if you have a solid steel one, it usually won't happen. But if you have the one where it's made out of square tubing,
that happened with
and it expands, like, you get moisture in there, water, snow, or whatever, and it expands when it freezes. Good luck getting that thing out.
What are you towing with your 19? You got a 19.
Get this. I'm towing about, if I had to guess, maybe 3,300 pounds. So it handles
Hey, well, there's nothing wrong with that. I got a 450.
Don't hate.
And I'm towing. I got a 10,000 pound trailer, but people are like, you don't need a 450 for a 10,000 pound trailer.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
I always say you can never have too much horsepower,
Yeah, but that fat 450 looks bad as shit. I tell you what, he came by the shop, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 Saturdays ago, and he had the salter on and the plow and had his lights on. I mean, I don't know, it looked pretty badass creeping through that door with just
some of the clips I've seen of it, it looks fantastic.
That's what it says.
What year is that 450?
2020.
So let me ask you this. Some people, now it's got the aluminum wheels, right?
Yeah.
Are they Alcoa? Are they made? From what I hear, they changed them coming out of China on the aluminum. And how you tell the difference is the number of holes. on those wheels. Like, I don't know what the number is, but the Alcoa aluminum wheels have a certain number of holes.
I don't know, but I will say, if you see a real Alcoa, it looks a little different.
Does it?
It does look a little different.
Finish on Alcoas is different. Even
it's not as shiny. It's not as shiny, is it?
No, and even the ones Ford puts on from the factory that are Alcoas don't look the same as like an Alcoa I'd put on that a customer, had us do a wheel swap from a steel to a aluminum wheel.
Right.
And those things surprisingly don't cost that much when you consider it's a fully forged, aluminum wheel. I think they're like can't tell you what we get them for. But they're not that bad.
Are the real Alcoas cheaper than the Ford ones?
Yeah, I think they are. And we actually
I don't think the Ford ones are bad.
No, they're definitely
not real.
Ford doesn't make them. They're definitely an Alcoa without the sticker on them.
Are they all standard 19.5 inch?
All of your medium duty trucks are going to be 19.5. And then the 650, 750 medium duty trucks you can get in a 19.5 or a 22.5.
Gotcha.
So for an example, there's a 650 that I prepped last week.
Oh yeah.
That thing was loaded to the nines. It had air ride seats for the driver and the passenger, Alcoa wheels, air brakes.
Those are the big boy Alcoas.
Full infotainment. This thing was loaded to the gills.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And I was
back to what you're
that.
saying about those wheels. I think Big Truck Big RV did that video where his valve stem started corroding, and then he was saying he was going to take it in and get some warranty work, and that those weren't the real Alcoa wheels. I don't know. I don't even know where. I don't know where real Alcoa wheels come from.
Right.
I don't know if they're American made. I don't know.
That's funny you say about the holes in it in the in the side of the wheel. I wonder if there's that's one right there. I see. You running fake, boys.
I mean, I just look for the little Alcoa sticker on them.
I don't know if I can say that they're fake,
right,
or not, or what would mean, what that all would mean, who made it, or if it was made in China. For all I know, all Alcoas could be made in China or not. I'm not sure.
They could be. I mean, I know the F-150 aluminum wheels are made in China, and I've never seen one of those blow apart. So
right.
Yeah, and and they're not really blowing apart. I think they just had a corrosion problem, which is weird because that guy lives in Texas. So
right.
Well, I mean, that could be a aluminum wheel with a steel valve stem.
It was exactly what it was.
So that honestly doesn't surprise me.
And it should be isolated with rubber, but the rubber probably breaks down. And if that's the case, it probably would leak anyway.
Hey, how many pounds PSI in the 450 tires do you run?
The tires run 50 in the rear,
50,
and the front runs 100.
Damn.
You're 450?
Was it supposed to run, Matt? I don't even remember what's supposed to.
What? That's usually okay. Most medium duty
What's
trucks.
What's the spec of the tires?
90 in the front, 80 in the rear.
For a 450 or
was
a
it
550?
80 in the rear?
Yeah, I just did it.
It usually depends on the upfitter specification, but usually Ford's number from the factory, depending on the tire it has on it and the suspension package on it. Usually I see 90 in the front, 110 in the rear.
I think it was 80 in the rear, but I can check real quick. I think it was 80. I don't remember.
But I would bet on your truck, because it's a 450 pickup, they run them lower in the rear to get better ride quality.
Probably.
Yeah.
They run them probably at the lowest.
On my 250, they call for 60 in the front, 65 in the back, but I'm running like 53 to 54 really around, because it's not loaded down, and I feel that's just a little high for by and large running around, not hauling a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I actually need to figure out how to get, I've done other trucks, but the 2020 spreadsheet to rework the TPMS so that I can adjust it to it, knowing where I want 60 or 65, because I'm stuck at running 60 and 80 or 65 and 80. And like you said, it's just too, I don't need to have 80 in the rear.
I'm able to run 65 all the way around on my 250. But if I go down to 50, I'll throw a light on my 250.
Wow. Well, you know what? Now that I got the experts here, I got to tell you, here's a story on my 250. All right. At 11,000, I only got right now, it's a 2019. I only got 11,900 miles on it. All right. So there's no miles on it. At 11,000 miles, I've been hearing all this chatter about the death wobble. And I admit, I baby my truck. If there's a pothole, I don't want to hit it. I go around it. I slow down. I baby truck. So I'm reading about this death wobble. And I said, well, hell, let me go out on the interstate and just drive this damn thing and hit these bumps and whatever. You're not going to believe it. The first bump I hit on the interstate on Georgia 400 here, I got the death wobble on that thing. And I couldn't believe it. And I had to literally try to pull off the road. It wouldn't even steer. It was just jumping and bouncing so hard. I couldn't believe it. I called the dealer from the side of the interstate after I got stopped. So I'm coming in, I was all panicked and stuff. And I took it into them. And after a couple of days, they replaced. Now, this is a new truck, 11,000 miles. They replaced the pitman arm, the drag link, and an outer tie rod.
With that many miles on it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. I was like, exactly.
And that fixed it?
Well, tell you honest, I've been too afraid to hit the pump at that speed. Because I was going like 70, 73, and I hit that bridge expansion seam, and there was a little bit of a bump right there. And I swear all the things lined up in the universe just right. And that thing's just really bad. I could not believe it because I purposely went out to see if it would happen, and it did it.
Interesting.
I know it. I was so freaked out. I told the mechanic, I said, look, I'm going to sell this thing, get rid of this. I was so pissed about it. If you can't fix it. He's like, no, don't do that. We can fix it. And so he did that, but I kid you not, I have not hit a pothole or a bump at that speed yet. But get this, from what I understand, it's a solid front axle issue, and the caster, these wheels need to be pushed out farther. And I was telling A-Rod when I talked to him, it's sort of like if you get a grocery cart, you go running with a grocery cart, those front wheels start going bop, 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 because they're right up under.
It's not exactly that.
Well, yeah, that's the best way to describe caster as a angle.
Right.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's literally perfect because the pivot point, right? The wheel on a shopping cart, where it picks up into the shopping cart is here, and the axis on which you measure your caster at is back here. So you have all this weight pushing down on the front, and all the wheel wants to do is go like this.
Wow. Exactly.
I guess
that's like very, very excessive. But I negative caster though.
No, I guess like if you think about a shopping cart, it literally is a caster wheel. Like a lawnmower has a caster wheel. Like it just turns wherever you turn it. But
right, but if you look at the alignment of the fork in your mower goes into the frame,
it's straight up and down.
Where the wheel is.
Oh wait, you mean how the fork is?
Yeah, and you look at where the axis of where the wheel goes into the fork, it's probably set back like half an inch.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't have enough weight on that, right, and you're going down the road or you hit a little bit uneven spot, the wheel on your mower will start sitting there and shaking and doing this, right?
Exactly.
But have you noticed if you go in reverse and you have those things pointing the other way, they will never shake. It's the same thing with a shopping cart.
I don't know. My mower can't go that fast in reverse. So
I'm just saying as an example. But
the better way to think about the caster on the vehicle is your upper and lower ball joint, and how far ahead the
lower is from the upper.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the best way I like.
So I have the caster is always blamed for that, and I don't agree with it. I'm also not a chassis engineer, so I can't say that. I can tell you it's just a natural, unfortunate aspect of a 3-link solid front end.
Yeah, solid action.
So you just have your radius arms, those are each a point of contact, and then you have that's tying, the axle to the frame. And then you have your why can't I think of the name for it? Your track bar, right? That comes down at an angle. Mm-hmm. So that's the only way you can do it, unless you're to have if you had 2 track bars, the thing would never sit there. Shouldn't say never. It probably wouldn't sit there and shake as bad if you had a track bar going from the right to the left and left to right, because it ties.
Well, they both would have to, if you had 2 track bars, they both would have to be like this. They wouldn't be able to be in an X pattern because unless.
Why not?
Because when it goes up, if they're in an X pattern and they're both to the frame and to the axle, they'd have to be in the same parallel if they're going to double up the
they
track
wouldn't have
bar.
to, as long as you had ball joints and free moving components. It would just go like a scissor lift, right?
True.
No, because it's not. No, because the solid axle would not allow that.
Yeah,
unless it was an independent front suspension, then yeah. But if there's a solid axle and they're both in the X pattern, and there's ball joints, it wouldn't go. It wouldn't.
You're not. My point is
we were inverted.
You're right. You're right. You wouldn't be able to go that far without
it wouldn't
binding.
Move at all. It would just be locked if it was like.
It would move to some degree with suspension components that move. Anyways, to my point.
It's 2 ball joints. It's in the X. You're hitting the bump.
Oh my God.
I don't even think it would move. It wouldn't work. They need to be like that. They need to be.
You're not letting me get to my point here.
Well, it don't really matter, but.
No, there's a way you could engineer it and someone's done it and this, that, and the other. Anyways,
you could, I guess.
Really, the only thing that's tying your axle to your frame and keeping it from moving side to side is your track bar ball joint connected to your track bar, right? And then that's connected through the bushing through the track bar. So if you get any play there and you hit a bump in it just starts to get a little oscillation, right? Yeah. And at whatever frequency those things get unhappy with each other, this is all you get. You just shake. It's like your heart's desire.
Do you think the track bar gets overlooked, Matt, a lot?
100%, because people at other stores will put on, they'll do ball joints, they'll do tie rods, they'll do drag link ends, they'll do pitman arms, they'll do steering dampeners. And I can look right at that track bar, wiggle the wheel and see that thing going like this and popping up and down and left and right. And it's like, guys, come on.
I forgot to ask you.
Track bars getting overlooked.
What is it? A super crew, crew cab? What size cab is it?
Mine, yeah, it's a crew cab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it came with that steering damper. Although I'm waiting to get a Bilstein one just to replace that one. But I understand.
There is a recall out for that. It is what's the recall? 20
extended coverage.
Yeah. So you can get that if you're still
the
experiencing
most updated
death
one,
wobble.
Yeah.
It'll come with the most updated
that's a really good one.
Which I'm surprised they wouldn't put that on to begin with, I guess. Well, I mean, I guess it would have to.
Well, if it was in 2019 when you got it, that wouldn't have been out yet. They would have just replaced it with the current one, to which if we see one of those, if we get one of those in the box, we're just supposed to throw that one out and wait for the new one, which is actually made by Hitachi, and it's a very, very good steering damper.
Hitachi.
Well, I'm glad everything, I got stock height, stock tires, and all that stuff. So I haven't lifted it or put big tires on it, because I'm sure if I had that and took it to the dealership, I'm sure I would have gotten a little slack about that. It's like, well, you alter the suspension, you're going to have problems.
It's been an issue with any manufacturer that does a solid front axle with radius arms in the front. I mean, I think Ford started seeing it obviously in 2005 once they went from leaf spring front end to, oh, dude, I love those things.
These
people that can't see what those are a lifesaver.
These are going to be somebody's lifesaver down at Limitless Auto Works. We're going to put a link in the description so you guys can check him out. Limitless Autoworks LLC.com. You guys got to check out his website. These are going to him. He does a lot of tear downs and repairs to various Powerstrokes. He does lifts, suspension, and the most important, if you guys are checking out my install I did for the dually light over the license plate, we have some custom harnesses for strobe lights, for the mirrors, C-rings, rear taillights, you name it. if you want it, I know Rich can fab that up. So you guys got to check him out. But yeah, if since you guys can't see these, when we get new engines from Ford, this is the cover that fills the void where the turbo sits. This blocks the intake ports in the valve cover. So when we are working in chassis and we have to take, like Matt said, be a lifesaver when you're doing repairs.
Saved my life.
Right there, you're not dropping anything down in the hole or anything down in the engine. So we always save these things, hold on to them. And Rich called me out in a video and was like, "Hey man, I need some of them orange covers."
Yeah, if you're wondering the best use for those, if you're gonna do a turbo on a truck and you're gonna put all your nuts and bolts on that little windshield wiper cowl, you go to pull that turbo out and it catches on that thing and sends your bolts and nuts flying everywhere. I guarantee one's going down in the intake, because I had a nut sitting on that little orange cap and I'm like, I am so glad I put those in.
If you don't have them, I mean, you can use rags too, but why not use the coolest thing? These are exactly what they're for. This is
the only thing is that's, you know what? That's a business idea for me. I'm going to start 3D printing those things and selling them.
It would be really cool. Like, how could you even get these? Like, what? How would you even? You can't.
You'd have to buy a long block. There's no other way to get them.
Right. Well, come on. Like, they came from somewhere. Where did they get them?
Can you put tape over the hole?
Oh, you absolutely can.
Yeah, but
it doesn't like click in there.
It won't
and,
stick.
Nothing's not going to get in there.
Yeah, like these are not the same. They're not just ovals. They're got a little, one goes in one hole, one goes in the other. So, I mean, they are side specific. If we could figure out who makes those, I mean, that's pretty damn cool. Even the caps that we get on the other parts, we got plugs on the turbo and plugs on this line and this line and this line and this line.
I do like the turbo plugs. I save those too.
Yeah, I do.
I don't need to save them, but I save them. What else do I save?
Sometimes in the valve grind kit, those little tiny 8 mil bolts that would be like the heat shields for the exhaust manifolds.
Oh yeah.
Or the turbo heat shield.
6/8 intake port little covers. I save those too.
Oh yeah. 6.0's got some good ones. The long red ones, when you get a long block and boop, 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 pull them out.
A satisfying noise.
Oh man, that brings back some memories.
Dude, do you have any caps for a 6-liter fuel pump?
A 6-liter fuel pump?
Yeah.
Oh, like
frame rail plastic fuel pump?
Ones? Yeah.
Because that's what we use as our transfer pump if we're pumping out a tank or something. The pump's completely shot out of it because they ran DEF through it or whatever. Or I got to transfer fuel from an old fuel tank to a new one. That's what I use. But you got to block those ports off, otherwise she's going to suck air. She's not going to work. So usually I just put tape over one end because I only have one cap.
I never thought about doing that. That's a good idea. Yeah, that'd probably go way better.
Oh, dude, it's a rocket.
No kidding. See, look, I'm gonna write myself a note. That's a really good idea.
Because I'll always drop a tank, and it'll be for there's a TSB for the cabin chassis where they'd get dust and stuff, and the vents plug up and suck the tank up. Every time after I pull a tank out and go to start pumping it out, I'd be like, Matt, you are so dumb. Why didn't you just pop a line off at the pump and just drain it that way?
But Vince, hey, what cab configuration did you have?
What's that?
Cab configuration. Which one did you have?
Crew cab.
Oh, crew cab. You got a 6.5 foot bed or?
Yes, 6.5 foot.
So how many miles do you have on your truck now, Vince? Still
9.
Okay, right. Okay. I wanted to make sure I got that right.
Okay.
So you're at 11.9.
It's a new truck, basically.
What are you planning on doing with it? Are you going to keep everything, or are you planning on you're sitting there, you're like, I got some stuff.
Oh, dude. I got to turn the volume down because my wife hears me. She's going to get mad. I would love, actually, I would love, I don't want to lift it, but I would love to level it and put some aftermarket wheels and tires on. I would like to do
that. I like that.
Yeah.
Here's the
thing though about level, and Matt will confirm. When you do level, that will probably have an effect on your caster. So just make sure whatever level you get is, there's a couple ways you can adjust the caster. The easiest way is probably to get a leveling kit that also will lower your radius arms a little bit, which will return the caster and could even give you a little bit more caster, because the caster does help you stay straight. It's not necessarily the issue with death wobble itself, but it does track the truck more straight.
Yeah,
it does
gives you better, return to center and all that kind of
more
stuff.
Return
and
to center, which
when
in
I'm
theory,
setting up a truck, if to fight road crown, I'll put a little bit more caster in one side over the other just to keep the trucking straight.
Yeah,
exactly.
In theory, I guess it does. It could maybe it returns the wheel to center more. It makes it drive more straight. Now that could be negative. That could be something that's negative for you if you think it's like, oh, now it's tighter to turn it.
Yeah. So it's harder to turn it. Yep. You know what I'm hesitant about too, though, is on leveling it, is that if I load it up, I can't stand when a truck's going down the road and the ass end is dragging along.
Oh my, you're from the South. You're in the South too. Like what's with
I hate that.
What's with what do they call it? The Carolina lean, where the trucks they put a 12-inch lift in the front.
I can't stand that.
Airbags.
Exactly. Airbags.
I don't get it. I mean, I will say if anyone's looking for good lift kits, leveling kits, Ready Lift makes an excellent product.
Motherfucker look like a stink bug.
But if you're at what you say, you're at 3,000 pounds of towing.
Yeah, I'm not towing much of anything. I'm really
so at 3,000 pounds, you're at 400 pounds on a tongue. You're probably not really squatting anyway. So.
You know what I did do? I had a load of dirt in it. I was surprised this. I had a load of dirt put in the back of it. 2 scoops out of a big Bobcat. Okay. So and it's sitting low. I'm like, damn, that dirt's pretty heavy. It was a little wet.
Oh, dirt's heavy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I get home and it was the leaf springs. You have those bump stops if they get overloaded.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my leaf springs had those rubber where it hit it on the way home. Boom, boom. Every bump I hit, so it was rubbed clean. The top of the leaf spring. That overload leaf spring you have back there that's thinner and curved. That thing was rubbed on both ends. So I was overloaded coming home. I couldn't believe it, but I was happy to put the truck to work like that.
Yeah, I mean,
how level was it filled? Was it like leveled?
No, it was sinking. It was low.
No, I mean, like the dirt, was it like full? The whole bed.
Well,
was
how many yards of dirt did you get?
You
Probably 2.5.
Probably it was 2 full scoops of a good sized Bobcat.
So, probably 2 yards.
I'd probably say like 2 yards.
Yeah, because the bed holds 2 yards. If you level it, I think that's 2 yards.
Yeah, it was probably that then.
Yeah, you could say perfectly dry soil, like perfectly dry topsoil. You could say about a ton a yard if you got moisture in it.
It can be at 2,200 pounds.
Yeah, I mean it's a good chunk of weight.
Are you rolling with a no tonneau cover, or you got just open bed, or what?
It's open bed, yeah, open bed.
I think if anybody's out, because I know somebody's listening. For those of you that are listening, let me know. I want to know. Comment, reach out to me over social media or something. I am in the market for a tonneau cover. If you guys know any reputable companies, I'll be honest, I have not started looking. I know Reeland's been trying to get one. I've seen a couple of dudes at work. They're interested in getting one, and I don't want one that's folding up, the tri-fold. I don't want the one with the button snaps. Let me know what you guys are getting, because I want to get one. I don't want to put any cheap rinky-dink stuff on my Lariat 350, but
get one of those fancy ones. Get one that's real fancy that were like cranks.
No.
And it's super sleek and low and just disappears.
Dude. My girlfriend has one that will roll itself back on her Tacoma. I hate that thing. It always binds up, and it's like a really high, it's an expensive one. And it also eats up like 1.5 feet of your bed space. You can't really put anything under it either. So something to think about.
Hey, question for y'all up north. Do y'all run anti-gel in your fuel up there? Or do y'all just leave it as it is and drive?
We don't actually have to. but I do. I mean, we all do. But
when it was cold, we had this like a sub-zero stretch.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I'll give you a tip.
Were people coming into the shop with issues?
We actually didn't have a single person come. Well, I take it back. We had one person that had waxed a filter, but even with the cold snap we had, I didn't put any additives in my 6-liter this winter, which was kind of surprising.
Our fuels are usually set. They're usually already taken care of from
winterized, you could say.
It was funny when I did DS's fuel filters, or his maintenance video. That was.
No, I got to do them. I got to do them now.
No, I was doing his water drain. His fuel sample was really, really yellow. And then when you look at his compared to mine, I got a local guy to me, Mr. Clark, the gas man. He knows who he is. He actually, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something with the fuel in this area, monitoring something, but he knew exactly where I had gotten fuel. Just by the color and the tinge, it really looked like E85 when I was doing my fuel water drain. And I was actually showing you guys by allowing water to drip into the container, this is what water is going to look like when you drain your fuel water separator. And it was kind of funny to see the difference in fuel. It was around the same time of year. His was clearly yellow. I did. Where do you fill up at DS? Didn't you say?
I go to Kroger.
Oh, Kroger.
I thought mine was green.
Yeah, it was. It was really iridescent, where mine was really not watery looking, but it was clear. It was.
You know what? This just made me wonder something.
It was Speedway. It was crazy.
On the topic of fuel, Sean, where do they fuel the trucks up at the plant? Is that on the line, or the tank comes with fuel in it?
They fill it up on the line. Well, okay, they fuel it on the line, but they don't fill them up. They only
I know they only put a little bit in, but that fuel usually looks clear to me.
I never looked at it, but there's a fuel station on the premises. So if something runs out of gas, or if they're driving, because sometimes a vehicle will drive around the facility for a day or two. If you ever see like an F-150 come in and it's got like 20 miles on it,
right,
or whatever. But there's a big. They're over on the last line. I think it's the last line, or I don't know exactly where, but most likely in the last line. There's big hoses that come in and like add coolant, add oil, add whatever, and they just they have measurement computerized.
Right.
It's weird looking. It's like these big giant hoses are moving around. It looks intimidating if you walk over there. It just does it. It does all different fluids.
Yeah, I was just curious.
You know what I love is
charges the AC. Go ahead.
You know what I love is if say you're not loaded down and you're taking a road trip, you're gonna be on the interstate, is the freaking range of these trucks with a full tank of gas. If you're not getting on it, I went from I was in St. George Island, which is in Florida. It's a good 6-hour drive, and I drove all the way home and just no problem. Didn't even have to stop. I did just because I wanted to, but the range is like, I think when I was going, I tried to maintain about 70 miles an hour. I think I had an almost 600-mile range.
So let me ask you this. How big is your fuel tank? What is your differential, and what MPG do you get?
I got a 331 rear end.
Ooh, nice.
Which I was telling A-Rod this, I hear if your truck comes with 18-inch wheels, you get the 331. If it comes with 20-inch wheels, you get the 355 rear end. But I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know. I actually have never heard that except from you.
I got off the internet, so it had to be true.
No, the 331 is just the entry level gear, the first level, the first one. The 3.55 is like maybe some kind of a towing package, which is because you said you had a towing package, so I would think. And then I think that's pretty much it for the diesels, unless you got a 450, which I can't remember what gear ratio 450
like a 410, right?
Something.
Oh, 430, 430. Oh, hold on. 430.
And the 410 gives in the 350 dually.
And then still get the 350 with 373s.
You probably in the 350.
You have a sway bar?
But in a 350, you can still get a 355. But
you got the sway bar in the back?
Yes, I do.
Oh wow, okay.
The 331's real good for just range MPG.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Performance.
Oh,
performance on a diesel.
It's fantastic. Hey Rod, is yours a 355?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you got 20-inch wheels, right?
Uh-huh. And no sway bar.
And no sway bar. Oh.
So yeah, the sway bar I believe is the camper prep package.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go back under and look at that thing now. I'm gonna question myself now. I think I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it.
It's a beefy sway bar.
The
I
links,
got the camper prep
not
package.
so much. Those links are dinky.
Well, the links are, but the sway bars.
No, it's a chunky sway bar.
Yeah, it's a girth sway bar.
I'll have to go look at my.
Have y'all seen some of these guys drop those 60-gallon tanks in them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done
Like
a few 70-gallon, 75-gallon Titan tanks.
Only thing is, does it leave a big plastic hump underneath the truck?
No.
All right, then good.
Nope.
You don't see it?
Nope.
Then good.
Just moves it. It moves it further forward in the. It drops the tank down probably 3 or 4 inches, but you really can't tell. They, at least Titan, I will say, they do a good job because I'm pretty sure they 3D scan the existing tank and then they 3D scan the underside of the truck so they can fit stuff in there pretty well. The only bugaboo is you're going to have to use an aftermarket program like Forescan to reprogram your tank size.
Right.
Otherwise, your fuel, your distance to empty is going to be wildly off. Like in the case of your truck, it would just say 600 miles to empty until it actually got to 600 miles to empty. So it would say it was on full for probably half of your tank, and then it would start to go down.
So do you have a key or do you have the push button?
A key.
Oh, okay.
Hey, trust me, when I bought this thing, A-Rod, it's funny. I was at my limit. I was like, I'm not spending any more money on this truck. But right beside it was a Lariat, and it was only $2,000 more. So with regret now, I'm like, I should have dropped the extra $2,000, got the Lariat.
Oh yeah.
Leather.
Oh, dude,
I kicked myself.
They get you that way too, because you're looking at it and you're like, you know what? I want the chrome package. I want power seats.
Yeah.
I want infotainment.
They get you because you're like, I want push button start.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang, can I just get push button start in my XLT? What's up?
So what about your front seats? Do you have the center console or the flip up seat?
I got the center console, but they're cloth.
Okay.
They're not leather. They are cloth. And yes, I should have spent. You know what I'm dying for? This reminds me. I'm dying for the freaking LED headlights. Oh my God, I want those so bad. But they're so expensive.
They really get you.
So stay tuned. I have a guy who is a distributor or works with Mirimoto. They have this hybrid something, I can't remember the name, I'm not going to butcher it, some hybrid new light that's coming out, and the beginning of April he said he's going to send me a set of these, and I'm gonna check them out. I'm gonna let you guys know what I think, and I don't have a truck for them, so I don't
put them on my 19.
If I'm gonna raffle them off, give them away, but
I think a good old-fashioned, gonna have to have people comment on the video, pick a rabbit out of the hat, and as long as it, they fit on their truck, they get them. But the stipulation is they have to come up and have you install them.
Oh, that's just not hard.
It's not that bad.
I can be there in a minute.
You know what I was thinking? I was talking with another subscriber. Is now that the weather is getting nicer,
you're screwed.
Anybody who's local, I mean, we can do a social distancing, but I mean, let's be outside. Let's go to a park, somewhere.
Park.
We're definitely gonna be social distant too.
Somewhere we can maybe do a little barbecue, hang out. Talk
we'll
about.
Just we'll go to your house or Reeland's house, and we're gonna do the barbecue cook-off that we were talking about.
Ooh, who wants some brisket? Because
I got an idea. We can go to
Reeland.
We can go to Belle Isle.
Dude, I ain't got 18 hours to cook up brisket.
Bilal?
I'm gonna need directions.
You know what? Dude, Vince, you're down. You're kind of down in the
hot
barbecue
shotters
belt.
would be all over that.
Calling all hot shotters.
You know what? Screw it. We're gonna go.
I need you to hot shot your butt through Grand Rapids. Pick up Matt and his gear, and then hot shot your butt through Detroit.
I'll do it.
I got some extra rooms.
Oh.
That's not
just an idea. I think it would be fun. I got a couple of dudes, John Ball, my Johnny Law man down south.
John Ball, like the John Ball Zoo in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
And I know he had mentioned that quite some time ago, but I think we're gonna have to make this a reality because
let's go to Drummond. You know what? Even better.
We'll have a Powerstroke muster.
Aaron just texted me. He said, we're going to go to Mackinac Island. We're going to stay in the Grand Hotel. He's paying for all of it.
What
so
are you talking about?
Bring your Ritz-Carlton. It's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be a great weekend.
There are no trucks on Mackinac Island.
Yes, there are. And you want to know what they are, Sean? You want to know what their ambulances and fire trucks are, Sean? Super duties.
Yeah. Well, I just want to let you guys know.
We're going to have an emergency so the ambulance could come just so we could see.
So Aaron can see this clattery old 7.3 just stinking up the place.
Hey, if y'all really want barbecue, y'all got to bring that down south to Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
There it'll be warm and humid.
What's the weather like right now?
You want warm and humid? Come to Michigan in August. Oh my God.
What's the weather like right now down there?
Right now, we're beautiful. Right now, beautiful. Lower 70s, just beautiful.
Oh, man.
Beautiful. I'm taking the truck out just for a spin, just to drive it around.
So what's it like right now? 50, 40, 50 degrees?
Yeah, Vince, today we had what a lot of people would call is false spring. So it was like over by me. It was mid 60s today. I don't know what it was for you guys.
I think tomorrow's supposed to be even nicer.
So what we're going to have later this week is third winter. So this is fall spring, and we're going into third winter where it's like 39 and just raining the whole time.
Oh, my God.
Might as well just move to England.
You know what?
Pacific Northwest.
I was telling my wife, if I could design a house, there's two things I'd add to it. Is a bigger garage so my F-250 could fit, and a kick-ass laundry room.
And a laundry room?
Yeah, get this. A laundry room's important because in there you can put your extra fridge.
Okay.
Not wrong.
Freezer.
Okay.
Dog wash.
Okay.
Okay.
Instead of putting all that in the garage, you put it in the laundry room.
Okay. You know what,
dang. That's
I'm like, man, don't be trying to tell me I'm doing no laundry, man, because I'm not doing no. I'm not doing no.
Hold on, guys. Vince just said something that I have never thought of. That is so needed and so smart and so overlooked.
Lay it on us.
Freaking dog wash in your house.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
It's called a laundry tub.
Well, for a little Kiki.
We got maybe for a small little thing, but you got yourself a 40-pound golden Archie that just wants to wiggle all the time.
Oh, Archie.
Hey, A-Rod, can you fit your truck in your garage?
I most definitely can.
You can.
That's why I'm not putting a lift. I'm not an F-350. I'm not putting a lift. I'm not putting tires.
Right. But it fits in the garage.
No, Aaron, you can put a lift on your truck. You can put a lift on your truck, and one of our customers and a guy that I always see when I go out to the ski hill has one of these. He has any level lift on his truck.
Oh.
And I literally see that guy back out of his driveway or out of his garage, and his truck just goes boop, boop. And then I just look at him and I'm like, man, I wish I was you. Yeah, real nice big house right there. You got the 350 limited on the any level lift truck. Man, I hate.
What do y'all think of the stock shocks that come on these trucks? Are they good? They bueno or no?
I think they're good.
You do?
They're pretty good.
Yeah. You hear a lot of people changing out to Fox or Bilsteins or whatever, but the factories seem pretty tight.
I think the trimmer ones look cool because they trimmer right on the side of them. I'm like, what?
I think my money would go to, I'm going to pronounce it in its proper German ways, of Bilstein.
Hey, Matt.
That's what I would do too. I'm not going to buy no yellow Rancho shocks. Just take those, throw them in the trash.
What's the deal? What's the deal with Fox shocks? Like, I hear some people say they're great, and then some people are like,
I think those are the people that bought the truck that are going to tow something maybe once a year with it, like their boat, and they're like, my truck is too stiff. Well, I have news for you, Clarence. Your truck is a 1-ton diesel. It's not meant to ride nice.
That's right. True that.
Matt, were you peeing upside down?
Dude, you're not attentive.
No, what happened to your shirt?
I dribbled a little bit of ski patrol on my shirt.
What was the one from last time? That's not a 12%er, boy, is it?
No, what I had last time was Founders Backwoods Bastard.
Founders.
This is Brewery Vivant Ski Patrol, as you can see by the rooster. They have a beer called the Big Red Cock.
Is that the Polish chicken on it?
You know what? I gotta have you guys over here because they have a really cool beer hall and they got good food too.
Hey, Rod.
Hey, what?
Are you in your garage?
Yes, sir.
That looks so cool. It looks totally organized and clean with those tags up, the car cover. Mine looks more like DS's garage. I got.
Yo, where'd you get that I-96 plate from?
Look at that. Look at that.
Aaron, you need to do something.
You know, the other side of I-96 says I-94.
Yeah, I know.
You need to get your Tahoe out and put your truck in for the podcast.
That would be
nice.
That would be cool.
No, he can't do that because the thing is, deep down inside, he secretly likes his Tahoe more than his truck, but he's never gonna admit it.
That's blasphemy.
Yeah, but I can't just pull this thing in and out and start it up, and because it's loud, and I got to move the lawnmower to get it out, and I don't fucking want.
Oh, dude.
Hey, I got a question. That reminds me. Okay, I do all these extremely short trips in my diesel. Like I start it up, I go 3 miles. I know, exactly.
Please don't.
What do I do?
Let him finish.
What do I do? Because I'm going like 3-4 miles and I'm back home.
Do you have OCR turned on?
No, I would love to, but
yeah, we need to get that turned on for you.
You got to hook them up. Can you do this over the air, Matt?
Okay, so
no, I can. Sadly, I cannot do it over the air. You need to get into your dealer and you need to ask for OCR turned on.
You need to go to the dealer, or you get the subscription to Forescan,
right?
And get their little dongle, and then I take remote access of your computer.
Oh, I like that.
And then I just do it.
So tell me that again. I get the.
Okay.
So go write this down. Go to
Yep.
FOR scan
SCAN.
Gotcha. I haven't had that much to drink.
.org. And then you can pick if you have a Mac or Windows. You go, software, downloaded Mac, Windows, download free software, and then somewhere in there you're gonna see like must have OBD2 dongle, and you'll have different ones that you can pick from, and you can sort through, and it's like $35-$40 I think for their little contraption.
I gotta do it.
And then you can turn there's a bunch of things you can do. One, we can I can send you a link to the video we did, the seatbelt chime, just it's more for the work truck dudes who are in and out, construction workers who are moving up the truck or whatever, and the ding 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 ding, annoying. Shut it off.
So with the truck, are you smelling anything? Does it stink sometimes?
No, if anything, every now the exhaust seems to have a sweet smell to it actually.
Ooh.
sometimes, but I tell you, why doesn't the truck in the instrument cluster ever tell you it's doing the regen?
It will tell you when you get the OCR turned on.
Oh, but otherwise it's stock.
Otherwise
it
it
doesn't.
won't. No,
It should.
I'm going to give you a hint of how you can tell if your truck's going through a regen.
Lay it on me.
Set it on instant fuel economy. Set your cluster on instant fuel economy, and you should see your fuel economy be slightly lower than what it would normally be.
Right.
That's usually what I tell all of our customers, and they're like, I want to know when I'm going into a regen because this thing doesn't tell me.
Dang, Matt, why don't you turn on OCR for them when they ask you that?
Dude, this is before they do it, or they don't want it turned on. And they're like, I would just like to know. Right.
I think it's really good information. I think it should be turned on for anybody, and not.
You can actually order it from the factory with OCR turned on,
and they'll charge you, but it's just a program.
It's just a one character you're changing different in the as-built, so it displays that in the instrument cluster.
See, I got to get that because I take so many short trips.
Go ahead.
I just cringe sometimes. I'm like, God, this is bad. I don't even want to turn it off, but I'm home.
How cold does it get?
You're probably not going to hurt it, but
in the wintertime, how cold does it get there?
Not bad at all. I think our coldest, it's in the 30s at night, high in the 40s on average.
All right, so if you're in the 30s at night and you're doing these short trips, it might be worth. I mean, if you're in the 30s, short trips, it might be worth it to plug in at night. Because if you're going to do a short trip, you're not gonna get hot enough.
What do you mean plug? The block
heater? You could get a block heater if you're 30 degrees and start off at like 100 degrees instead of starting off at 30 and never even getting warm enough.
Right. Exactly. Because down here they don't have block heaters on them. They don't come with it.
You could add it.
I saw A-Rod do that.
Yeah, it can be added after. It's not that hard.
Yeah,
that's something
even with
it depends how big of a coolant mess you want to have to do the block heater yourself. But it's really not that bad.
You'll have the provision in Forescan to do a stationary regen. So,
yes, that's right.
If you need to, for whatever reason, push a regen through with the computer, you could.
I mean, how often are you short tripping it? I guess is my question.
Dude, I hate to say it, but quite a bit. And what I end up doing is it bothers me so much. I say I'm going to the interstate and I run the shit out of it on the interstate.
Well, I mean, is it like that's what you're doing throughout the week, and then on the weekends you're driving the highway more?
Pretty much.
Just driving. You know what? Honestly, I wouldn't worry about it then.
Okay. All right.
Well,
it's just my personal opinion on it.
The thing is, once you turn on OCR, it's still going to give you a little bit of a hard time, because the thing about the regen is it wants it to start and it wants it to finish the whole process. And if you turn off the key, then it will restart the whole process once conditions are right again. It has to be hot enough and all this stuff.
It going.
So you'll still be driving on the highway extra, but at least you'll know exactly if it's doing it or not. You'll still be driving.
I would say it is worse for your engine to not complete a regen than to short trip.
Okay. And see, I don't even know if I pull up to the house, how do I know it's doing a regen at that point when I put it in park? Is it going to idle up?
No. So if you have OCR turned on, it's going to display a percentage that you can keep. You can keep the screen on all the time. So if you pull up to the house and it's at 90%, it's like, well, let me go drive it. So you're probably going to get it to kick up to 95. Then it's going to say 100. You're going to be driving. You're going to be, oh wow, 90.
Yeah.
85.
Here's
80,
the catch. Here's
60.
The catch.
Right.
Here's the catch though. If it says 90, it ain't kicking on though.
Right.
At 90, you gotta wait till 100. So at 90, you could drive from 90. I've driven at 90 for like 45 minutes, sometimes an hour at 90 before it got to 100. And I'm like, get to 100. So if you're at 90, just leave it. You know what I mean? At 90, you just leave it. At 95, you know what I mean?
All right.
That's why I like to give customers the option to have the static regen, so they can just park it, make sure nothing around them is gonna melt or catch on fire, and they can just go inside, and once they hear their truck idle down,
if your
You can come back and turn it off.
if your trips are really that short,
They are.
those static regions are I think, in my opinion, from what I've experienced, the shorter or the static regions are better than the dynamic regions that you do while driving.
Got it. Okay.
When I've done the static ones,
Right.
it would burn down to 0. And I've never actually done a static one to the point where it stopped on its own. I'm always like, was it still doing this? And I turn it off. But it would, whenever I turn it off, it would be at 0. And it would stay below 0 for a couple of days before it even starts to register back to 5. It goes in increments of 5. It goes 5, 10.
Right.
Versus like if you do a dynamic one, it'll go down to 0. And then you could get back home and it's already back to 5. And it, you know what I mean? It might start going right back up. It doesn't burn off as good.
Right.
I mean, Vince, I'll do something to make you, feel better. We probably haven't replaced a DPF in a year and a half. And the ones that we did had a manufacturing flaw.
All right.
Oh wow, that's
was
good
it.
to hear.
So
that's good to hear.
Those were replaced under warranty. Ford actually knew about them. They were like, "Hey, you know what? Here's the issue. We're gonna replace it. We know this truck is one of the trucks that had one of the bad ones." So,
okay.
I try not to get too caught up in it because I'm just like, just let the truck do its thing. If it's got an issue, it'll let you know. So
I've definitely been scared a little, just thinking or knowing that I'm at 90% and I'm between 90 and 100.
Oh, Aaron, I see you got your hand up. Do you have a question?
I got a question. I got a question. Yep. I know I'm a host, but I have an oil related question. Can I ask Vince a question?
Yes. Lay it on.
What oil are you running, boy?
I am part of y'all's 5W40 club.
Okay.
Yep, 5W40. I see you, Diaz. Yeah. Oh, all the way. I'll never go back to 1030.
Okay, so I have another question, and it is going to be regarding additives. What kind of additives are you going to be running? Have you not been running any additives?
No, only fuel additives, no oil additives.
Okay.
And I was going to ask you about that on the oil.
So let me hold your thoughts here.
All right.
What oil?
Motorcraft.
Okay, cool. I like my Motorcraft. I did the 540 and I felt like it ran good.
And you're right. Isn't it quieter at an idle?
Tell A-Rod that.
It is, dude. I know.
Tell A-Rod, you hear that? You missed it.
I didn't hear anything.
Sometimes he's like, is this a gasoline engine? It's so quiet.
I'm telling you, I noticed. Aaron, didn't you notice when you switched?
What?
It's quiet at idle.
Does it run different?
Oh, I got to get out of the way from Motorcraft. I want something other than Motorcraft. Beefers?
Exactly. Me too. I want to try some stuff.
Hot Shots. I have not checked the oil out, but we are checking out the fuel additives you have. This, Vince, we're going to recommend that you get. There's also another one that they have, the Hot Shots Fuel EDT, which is going to be like every tank.
I have that.
Yep, that's a good one.
I've been using that, but I don't have that.
This is their FR3 friction reducer, and I have not used this yet. I am excited to.
So when you change your, how much of that would you put in your 13 quarts?
So this is saying 1.5 ounces.
Oh, just a little bit.
For a quart, but that doesn't seem right. It just have 1.5 ounces / quart.
So what is that stuff supposed to do? Like, what does it do? Does it improve MPG or what?
I'll read it to you really quick. It says Hot Shot Secrets FR3 friction reducer is a lubricity enhancing oil additive that increases the lubricating and wear reduction properties of the host oil. The product contains 3 patented synthetic lubricants that have unique lubricating properties even compared to PAO or MPAO synthetics of the same viscosity. The anti-wear component of the formula is a patented carbon nanoparticle that fills in microscopic irregularities on the machine surface to provide a smoother surface for the lubricating film to form. The synergy of these components extend the base oil performance in shear stability, oxidation stability, film strength, and especially friction reduction. This is almost a must-have for pretty much any engine.
I'm
Powerstroke's number
very
one.
curious.
So in other words, DS, our engines will be even quieter with that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'd have to try it.
Is this a hybrid?
Try it and see. I definitely noticed that it was, but here's the issue with me. I'm saying I noticed it runs smoother and better and all that, but I only did one oil change.
Right.
To it. I've had the 1030, and then when I went from the 1030 to the 540, I'm like, oh, it runs better. But how do I know if I would have just put 1030 back in it?
Right.
If that fresh 1030 would have just ran as good as the fresh, I don't know.
I guess you're just gonna have to throw 1030 in your truck. It's your only option.
That's the only way. Well, I wonder, like, if it's a 540, would a 1030 be like more efficient? Because it's a 30, wouldn't that be?
Well, see, with y'all up in north, isn't a 5W full synthetic better anyways because of the temperature ranges?
100%.
Yeah, up north, I'd run it all the time because it gets so cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you, did you have?
I don't know. I think maybe in something that's like Huey injected, you'd notice it more, like a 7.3 or a 6 liter. But
do you have? Is your truck got tinted windows? Do you have some tints up on that thing?
I don't have tints on it.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much. Everything's stock. You know, the only thing I did buy, but I haven't put on yet. This reminds me. I bought one of those, if I'm right, one of those SPE billet aluminum, the drain plug water separator. That yellow plastic one.
I just made video for that.
Did you? Good, because I haven't put it on. I'm afraid I'm going to break something.
Then just wait, because it's easy.
Oh, good, because I was worried I'm going to have to drop the whole thing just to change it. I wasn't sure.
No.
All right.
So, hey, what does that thing do?
Well,
like, how's it easier?
The factory yellow ones have those little tips that apparently can break off. And so if it breaks off, you're gonna, it sort of leaves you stranded because you're gonna have to go get replaced before you can go drive your truck because it won't hold tight. You'll end up losing fuel.
Oh.
But the billet aluminum is just solid, nice working material that's not gonna break.
Actually, I don't know how much that is. That's a good question.
I think it's like $50.
I want that.
Here's my Schneider Performance Engineering. Those are the boys.
I'm gonna call Amy tomorrow. She should have called me the 26th of last month, and I'm still waiting to hear back from her. I know they're busy. I get it. But the word on the street is that people are still waiting from Black Friday.
I heard that also.
You have
that's not good.
You know what they're waiting on too is that CP4 disaster kit.
No clue how many units they sold.
Yeah,
it was
I don't know.
Insane.
Hey, I actually want one of those drain plugs too for the engine. I don't.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Like the quick drain?
Yeah. Go ahead and make fun of me if you want.
No, I just don't trust those.
Oh.
Like I'll see a lot of the school districts who we service their buses on have those, and obviously they work well enough, but I'm just wondering, like, what if the spring breaks and then it just kicks over and dumps all the oil out on the floor?
When I Googled it today, I'm looking at them and I'm like, why is there a spring on there? Like, I don't trust that. Why has it got a spring? I thought it would be like some kind of a 90-degree
for my 6.7s, I just like my good old fashioned 16 millimeter bolt.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
Is there any? I don't know anything about it, but internet chatter. What's the deal with the CP4 pumps? Are they like a disaster waiting to happen?
No, you don't want to get me started on that. We've talked about this in a few other podcasts, and
is it a good system or no?
So
Executive
long story short, what you're hearing is coming from a lot of Duramax owners.
Gotcha.
And the Duramaxes don't have a lift pump, right? So they don't have a pump that transfers fuel from the tank to the high pressure system. So they just have to rely on the high pressure pump priming the system.
Right.
The way the CP4, or we'll just call it the high pressure pump, works on a 6.7, it basically looks like a V-twin, right?
Okay.
So you've got your crankshaft per se, and then you have buckets or pistons with rollers. Then there's a spring on top of them, this, that, and the other. Well, unlike you could say lifters that go on a camshaft, if they're, they have a wishbone connector to keep them from spinning in the bore.
Right.
These don't have that. So if you have a lack of lubricity or whatever, regardless, there's a roller that rides on the crankshaft. If you have a lubrication issue, that would cause the roller on the bottom side of the piston to lock up. That would start to flat spot, and you would have metal contamination through the system. Or if it spun in the bore and got stuck sideways, you would have the same issue. The guys that I work with that have been working on Powerstrokes, I shouldn't say Powerstrokes, Ford diesels before they were Powerstrokes, right? That were working on like 6.9s and 7.3 IDIs.
Yeah.
There has been 3 CP4 pumps that were replaced that just did it out of the blue. Everything else, the tank, a fuel sample was taken, and there was gas in it. There was DEF contamination. There was poor diesel fuel quality.
Right.
It was a fueling lubricity issue that caused it.
I'm glad to hear that. That's
we
good.
have yet to see a pump. I mean, other than those 3 random ones, just grenade because.
Right. But what about this disaster kit though? Like how it's isolating all these components so they don't take each other out.
What the disaster kit does is
make it really simple though. Like you're blowing our minds, man. I'm like,
right.
The piston, right.
I thought it was just me.
So the way that pump lubricates itself is it uses fuel to lubricate, you could say, the crankcase in a sense, the way that a 2-stroke does, right? So what a lot of disaster kits do that go in line off of the fuel feed port or fuel feed line, they would have you cut that line and put a flexible line that has someone's kit on it that doesn't allow fuel to go back down into the crankcase per se, and let that fuel go into the high pressure fuel system, into the outlet, into the
itself
pump chamber, right? So it's just that kit is going to allow it to bleed back, return back to the tank. So all you would really have to do is flush the lines out, flush the tank out, put new filters in. It's really not a bad option. Just a preventative measure, just in the rare event that, your pump does let loose. Another option, and these are guys that are local to us, they're a huge name in fuel injection for diesel, is Exergy diesel. They make I want to say they call it a M-prop, fuel metering, whatever, right? It's the volume control valve that sits on top of the high pressure pump. They have I think the Ford screen is like a 4-micron screen or whatever. Exergy's has a 80-micron screen. So really nothing's going to get past that screen. So it's basically you don't have to hack your lineup for that.
Matt, so you established that the system is not going to fail on its own, most likely.
Right.
And if it did, then you're good. If you got a warranty, you're gonna.
Well, no, if the system.
But
no. If
but
the
wait a
system,
second.
if we can pinpoint the failure to fuel quality, right? Ford Motor Company isn't going to warranty that because, in a sense, that is on you.
But the whole idea of the kit, like, it's not out of the question to have poor fuel quality or to have some kind of water get into the fuel. So the kit might not be a bad idea because, like, yeah, the system's good. But
I'm not saying any failure kit is a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I personally, once I buy a 6.7, whenever that is, I can't say with 100% confidence that I'm okay. If I buy a brand new truck, I'm probably not going to put it on. If I buy a used truck that I really don't know the history, or we'll say it's a farm truck or someone that lived, out where fuel quality is kind of questionable.
Right.
I'd probably put Exergy's VCV valve on or something like Snyder's disaster kit.
How much money are you talking though? Like, how much money does
if the fuel system fails?
Like, how much money versus the without the kit and then with the kit?
So most CP4 disaster prevention kits or something like Exergy's metering valve, you're looking, quality. You could probably get an eBay kit for $150. Up to $500. Your high pressure fuel system installed, said and done, you're probably looking at about, and Vince is just crying at this, you're looking at about $8,000.
Oh,
so the whole fuel system's $8,000. Like,
yeah,
that's
because depending on where you go, and that's.
So how much money do you save where you put the kit on and then you have a failure? You still have a failure, but it doesn't take out the whole system.
It doesn't take out the whole system. So you would be looking at replacing a pump. A pump.
A pump? What pump? The high pressure pump?
Yeah.
And how much would that be?
The pump. What's the Aaron? Do you know what the pump goes for? Like $1,000?
Yeah, I was gonna say $1,200 maybe.
Yeah, the thing there is like it's labor more than I shouldn't say it's labor more than anything, because injectors on something like a 6.7 are going to run you about $350-$400 a piece. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't look at the price.
It's going to be labor and parts.
Yeah, and depending on where you are and how bad someone wants to juice you and your insurance company, you could be paying 40 hours for someone to do that job.
Oh yeah.
And it's unfortunate because it should be like that from the factory to isolate everything.
Yeah, it would be very nice, but I haven't pulled one of those apart recently to see if they've done something about that.
Yeah, they need to. That'd be nice to have something like that from the factory, but I'm kind of interested because I never know. Something could happen with the fuel or whatever.
Yeah, that just comes down. It's something we've talked about a lot before is when you're filling up, go somewhere that has a high turnover rate of fuel. So, I'm not going to say drive 50 miles out of your way to go to a truck stop to get your fuel, but if you see multiple diesel pumps at a fueling station, I would choose that over, let's say like a sit go in an urban area that has maybe one diesel pump and you don't really ever see anyone using it. Cause odds are that fuel's been sitting there for, a moon or two.
Right.
Or I would think use something that's relatively new, not something that's really old.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of tank, because I go to Kroger and that's not a diesel place, but it's got a bunch of diesel pumps and it's brand new. And I've had good luck and I haven't seen any water yet.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me. I go to, I'll go to Meijer. Anyone that really has a lot of pumps, and you see a lot of trucks going through there.
I do
a lot of pumpers.
I do that A-Rod monthly thing where 30 seconds to drain that water separator once.
Just drain it.
Yeah, that's another good thing to do. Bring a mason jar with you or something to drain your water in, and then obviously dispose of it responsibly. Don't just dump it on the ground or whatever. So from what I am seeing, I don't mean to cut you off, Sean, but just because I haven't pulled it up, if you guys want a part number for this,
This is disaster kit.
This is Exergy performance for a 6.7, 11 through 17.
And this is better than the other one that we were talking about, the SM.
I don't know if it's better. I just really like these guys because they're good customers, and I think it's a really good alternative. So this is as of, I'm looking at their price list. This is as of March 19th, 2018. So I can't tell you if the price went up or down or left or right or whatever. But Exergy's part number is an EO5 401105.
How much is it?
System Saver improved stock inlet metering valve FCA M prop, and those retail for $240.
That's not bad. $240 is not bad.
So to put that kit on, you're going to have to do the same amount of work, because to put anyone else's disaster prevention kit on, you're going to have to pull the upper intake manifold off to get to those lines.
I would never do it personally because I don't know.
Sounds hard.
Actually, it's not that bad to get
child's
that.
play.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron and I are going to tell you it's child's play. And on the newer body styles, man, I felt so dumb on the aluminum trucks because I had never pulled the wiper cowl off because I'm like, man, that just seems like a pain in the butt. But you can get the stuff so much easier. You can pull the upper intake manifold off way easier. You can get to all the fasteners. And
how many hours? I mean, how many hours is that, like, roughly, for labor, for just to get it done?
I'd have to look
at. Hook me up, Matt. How many?
No, I can't tell you. I'd have to look at the book because I don't want to piss people off.
No, I'm saying I'm asking you to.
I don't need 1,000 text. I don't need 1,000 people charging into the dealership.
I'm trying to figure out how much.
Well, Matt said he can do it this fast, so you need to charge me this much, and it's like,
well, A-Rod,
I just try to keep my mouth shut. I try to keep my mouth shut outside of people charging 50 hours for a fuel system.
How long you need, A-Rod, to
put
the kit on there?
I'm with Aaron. Yeah, him and I are pleading the fifth right now.
We'll talk about that
later. We'll talk about it after we do it once.
But I think this would be
hey, A-Rod.
Yes, sir.
How often do we need to change our transmission fluid? And do we need to do the filter and fluid every time, or can we just dump that fluid out and change it, or do I need to drop that filter also?
So quick response.
Go with A-Rod's response.
I got trans and filter, fluid change, drain and fill every 60K.
60K.
But I got a video that I just made going over my recommendations for oil, fuel, trans, diffs, transfer case, belts, hoses, thermostats, everything condensed into like a 28-minute video, and it's going to cover all the Powerstrokes. And I got a little humor in it, repping Bill Hewitt down in Georgia,
Bill
with the old whiteboard. No disrespect, we're just having fun. I thought it was a good way to reel him in and do a whiteboard and talk about maintenance, because I'm getting asked about it all the time. Yeah, I think this was a good night to bring Vince on, talk about his truck.
Thank you.
The questions he's got being a first-time Powerstroke owner. You guys, make sure to check out Hot Shots. Check me over at billbrownford.net. Schedule your next appointment with me. Get in here, get it serviced. Make sure to reach out to all of our social medias. Tell us what you thought, what you didn't like. Do you have questions? Do you want to get on the show? Check my email up here at the top. Reach out to me. We'll get you in queue. And
can I start closing these out by, like, I don't mean to, like, just ruin your ending right now. But on The Price is Right, how they always tell you to remember to spay and neuter your cats and dogs. Can I just tell everyone to remember to change their oil every 5,000 miles?
Oh, hey, and remember to change your oil every 5,000 miles.
Or by Ford, or 200 or 200 hours.
And then DS will chime in, and 200 hours.
All right, take us away, Aaron.
All right, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you all next time here on the PTT podcast. See ya.